All right, taxes. Let's face it, they're not the most exciting topic.
No, not exactly a party starter.
Yeah. But when it comes to owning a home, there's a whole world of hidden tax benefits that can actually make things a little more fun,
I do.
especially if they're putting money back in your pocket, right?
Absolutely. We're talking about real savings here. And, owning a home, it's more than just having a roof over your head.
Right. It's an investment.
Exactly. And we're going to dive deep into a source that lays out these often overlooked tax perks.
Hmm.
Think of it as your treasure map to homeowner tax savings.
I like that, a treasure map. And I bet our listeners are eager to start digging. So let's jump right in. First up, the mortgage interest deduction. This one's a biggie, right? Especially for new homeowners.
Oh, absolutely. It's huge,
Hmm.
especially in those early years of your mortgage. You know how in the beginning you're mostly paying interest?
Yeah, it feels like forever before you make a dent in the principal.
Well, the good news is you can deduct that interest from your taxable income. We're talking potentially thousands of dollars in savings.
Thousands. Okay, now we're talking my language, but I'm guessing there's a limit.
You got it. The deduction is capped at $750,000 for joint filers.
Okay, good to know.
And one thing to remember, keep an eye on that Form 1098 your lender sends you.
Form 1098, is that like a tax form?
It is. Think of it as a yearly report card for your mortgage interest. Tells you exactly how much you paid. That's what you'll use come tax time.
So those mortgage statements are pretty important, huh?
Definitely don't toss them in the junk drawer.
Noted. So mortgage interest, check. What about property taxes? Can we deduct those too?
You bet. But there's a cap on this one too. $10,000 annually for all your state and local taxes combined.
Got it. So keep those receipts organized.
Exactly. Meticulous record keeping is your best friend when it comes to taxes.
Okay, receipts. Filed. Now let's talk energy efficiency. Upgrading your home to be more eco-friendly. Can that save you money on taxes?
Oh yeah, things like solar panels, energy efficient windows, better insulation. Not only good for the planet,
Good for your wallet too. I like it.
it's a win-win.
So how do these energy efficiency tax credits actually work? What's the deal?
Well, there's the residential clean energy credit, lets you claim back a percentage of the costs for, say, installing solar panels. And don't forget to check out state-specific incentives.
Wait, so on top of the federal credits, some states have their own.
Yep, some offer additional tax credits or even rebates for energy-efficient upgrades.
Wow, so you could really be saving a lot. This is great info. I'll have to check what my state offers. Now let's switch gears a bit. For our listeners who are self-employed or working from home, what about that home office deduction I keep hearing about?
Ah, yes, the home office deduction. If you have a dedicated workspace in your home, one used exclusively for business, you might be able to deduct some of your home-related expenses.
So like a portion of my utility bills, maybe?
Utilities, insurance, even depreciation based on the size of your workspace.
Okay, so that spare bedroom turned home office could be a real money saver. But I'm guessing there are rules.
Definitely. The IRS has some pretty specific guidelines. You want to make sure you're doing everything by the book. Avoid any trouble with an audit.
Right, nobody wants that. So we've covered deductions for mortgage interest, property taxes, energy efficient upgrades, even a home office. Now, what about when it comes time to sell your home? Are there tax benefits there too?
Good question. Thinking long term. Yes, when you sell your home, there's a great tax break called the capital gains exclusion.
Oh, right. I think I've heard of that. Something about not having to pay taxes on the profit you make.
You got it. Let's say you bought your home for $300,000. You live in it a few years, then sell it for, say, $550,000.
Oh,
That's a $250,000 profit.
wow. That's a lot.
With the capital gains exclusion, you might not have to pay any taxes on that entire amount.
Really? You can make that much profit and not pay taxes. What's the catch?
There are some requirements, mainly about how long you've owned and lived in the home.
Yeah.
But if you meet those, it's a fantastic way to shield a big chunk of your profit when you sell.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. Mortgage interest, property taxes, energy efficiency, home offices, even selling your home. I'm sensing there's more to this tax benefit treasure map, though. What else do homeowners need to know?
Well, let's talk about those points you pay when you get a mortgage.
You mean those fees you can pay up front to get a lower interest rate?
Exactly. It's not just about getting that lower rate. It's also about potential tax savings.
Wait, are you saying I can get a tax break for paying points? I always thought those were just an extra cost.
Nope. They can be deductible. If you paid points for your primary residence, you can deduct them immediately.
Wow, that changes things. Okay, I'm really starting to see how homeownership can be this amazing financial tool. but this is a lot to keep track of. Anything else homeowners should watch out for?
There's one more thing, the deduction for private mortgage insurance, or PMI. But this one's a little tricky. Its eligibility depends on what Congress decides each year.
So it could change from year to year. Why is that?
It's tied to politics and economics. Some lawmakers see it as helping people afford homeownership. Others, not so much.
So it's a bit of a moving target. Got it. Well, I guess the key takeaway here is to stay informed.
Exactly. Tax laws, especially around PMI, are constantly changing. We need to stay up to date to make sure we're taking advantage of all the benefits.
Okay, I'm ready to learn more. What else have you got?
In the next part of our deep dive, we'll get into some practical tips for maximizing all these tax benefits, how to make them work for you.
Sounds good. Can't wait.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground, learned about all these amazing tax benefits for homeowners. But now, let's get down to brass tacks. How do you actually make these benefits work for you?
Right, because knowing about them and actually taking advantage of them, those are two different things.
Exactly. So first things first, stay informed.
Stay informed. Okay, I'm picturing those late night infomercials. Tax laws are changing. Call now. But seriously, how often do these rules change? Do I need to check the IRS website like every week? Maybe not that often, but at least annually. Tax laws can change with every new tax year. So checking the IRS website at least once a year is a good habit. Or even better, talking to a tax professional.
Okay, so the IRS website, tax professional, good to know. But even with expert help, sometimes I get overwhelmed by all the paperwork involved. Any tips on staying organized?
Oh, absolutely. Organization is key. It's not just about claiming those deductions when you file, it's about being prepared. Imagine this, an IRS agent shows up at your door, wants to see receipts from 5 years ago, and you're scrambling around trying to find everything. Not a fun situation.
Okay, yeah, not a good visual. Definitely want to avoid that. But what's the best way to keep everything organized? Color-coded folders, spreadsheets, a whole filing cabinet.
It really depends on what works best for you. Some people love the tactile experience of paper files, while others are all about digital organization. The key is consistency, finding a system you can stick with. So whether it's a cloud-based system or a good old-fashioned filing cabinet, just pick something and use it. I think I'm somewhere in between, like digital for most things, but I still like physically filing away important documents. It feels good, gives me a sense of control. But beyond organization, are there any online resources you recommend for homeowners who want to become more tax savvy? Because let's face it, the IRS website can be a bit intimidating.
Totally. The IRS website is actually a great resource, just dense. They have publications specifically for homeowners. They break down these tax benefits in a lot of detail. But if you're looking for something a bit more user-friendly, I highly recommend Investopedia. They do a great job of explaining complex financial topics in plain English, and they have a whole section dedicated to homeowner tax benefits.
Okay, so IRS website for the nitty-gritty details and Investopedia for a more digestible overview. Got it. So far, we've covered a lot of ground. Deductions, credits, exclusions, and of course, the importance of organization and staying informed. It's clear that owning a home isn't just about having a roof over your head. It's like this whole financial ecosystem. And we, as homeowners, are the caretakers of that ecosystem.
I love that analogy. And the more we understand about this ecosystem, the better we can nurture it and make it thrive.
Right. And it seems like these tax benefits are a big part of that. They're like the fertilizer that helps our financial garden grow, so to speak. But, I think there's a tendency to view these tax breaks as just a way to reduce our tax bill, like it's a chore. But what I'm hearing from you is that it's so much more than that.
Absolutely. It's all about shifting our perspective. Instead of seeing these benefits as just a way to save money, think of them as tools to invest in your home, to invest in your overall financial well-being.
I like that. So instead of just shrinking my tax bill, I can use those savings to achieve other financial goals, like maybe upgrade to energy-efficient appliances. Or if I'm self-employed, invest in my home office.
Exactly. It's about taking those savings and creating a ripple effect of positive change in your life.
This is really eye-opening. We started this deep dive talking about hidden gems, and it's turning into a masterclass in financial empowerment.
It's amazing what happens when you start seeing these tax benefits not as burdens, but as opportunities.
So true. So as we start to wrap up, what's the one piece of advice you'd give to our listeners who are ready to take control and unlock the full potential of homeownership?
Honestly, the first step is often the hardest, but it's the most rewarding. Educate yourself.
Educate yourself. Okay, what does that look like?
Take some time to really dive deep into these tax benefits. Explore those IRS publications, get familiar with Investopedia, and if you're feeling overwhelmed, don't hesitate to reach out to a qualified tax professional. They can be incredible allies on this journey.
Great advice. I know some people might be listening thinking, but I'm not a financial expert. I don't even know where to begin.
You don't have to be an expert. Start small. Pick one tax benefit that resonates with you and learn everything you can about it.
It really is. It's like once you start to understand the lingo, the whole world of homeowner tax benefits opens up.
It does. And like anything new, it takes a little time, a little patience. But it's worth it. The payoff is huge.
So we've talked about using these benefits to invest in our homes, in our financial well-being. What are some ways our listeners can actually put this into practice, like concrete examples?
Sure. Okay, let's say you've been tracking that mortgage interest deduction, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get a nice chunk of change back at tax time. Instead of just pocketing it, what if you used it to, say, upgrade to energy-efficient appliances?
Oh, I like that. So you're saving money on taxes A&D on your energy bills.
Exactly. Plus, it could increase your home's value. Win-win-win.
I like the way you think. Okay, what about for the self-employed folks out there?
Well, if you're maximizing that home office deduction, you could use the savings to maybe invest in some better office equipment, make your workspace more ergonomic, or even hire a virtual assistant to free up some time.
So it's all about using these tax benefits to make positive changes.
Yeah, exactly. It's not just about saving money, right? It's about using those savings strategically to improve your home, your work life, and ultimately build a more secure future for yourself, for your family.
I'm feeling inspired. We started talking about hidden gems, and now it's like we've unlocked this whole new level of financial empowerment.
It's amazing what happens when you shift your perspective.
Yeah.
Stop thinking of these tax things as burdens and start seeing them as opportunities.
Absolutely. So as we wrap things up here, what's the one piece of advice you would give to homeowners, those who are ready to really take advantage of all of this?
Don't underestimate the power of knowledge. Take the time to learn. Embrace the journey of becoming financially savvy. And remember, you don't have to go it alone. There are resources, experts, a whole community of homeowners out there going through the same thing.
That's great advice. And I think it's a perfect note to end on. So to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you've learned some valuable tips and feel empowered to make the most of homeownership. It's not just about bricks and mortar. It's about building a brighter future for you, for your family. Thanks for listening.